Together for another prosperity training session. Thank you for joining me. I've been working this information since 1999. And what I've come to realize through the years increasingly is that our mind, which creates all of our reality, has areas that are blocking the prosperity that we seek. Now, often we think we want something, but we don't really. And I'll give you this example, which I may have given last week because it's so important that you take this in. If you want to be prosperous and get a higher position in your company, and that higher position comes with a lot of responsibilities and problems and issues, that's why they pay you more. You may not get it if you're insecure and think that being stable and secure and knowing what's going to happen today, tomorrow, the next day, and in 6 months, if you think that's what's important more than that augmentation in your salary, then that intention to be secure and safe that you have deeply buried, but is very there with a lot of power behind it, that intention can win over your intention to get the better job. So you need to be aware of your subconscious. You need to be aware of what you have going on inside of you that could be tripping you up. So let's review what intention is having to do with prosperity. The law of intention states that you create your reality, and you do. And most people agree with that. They can't figure out why they would create something negative. So your mind creates everything because of this law, which is still totally operational on the planet. Then you have your subconscious desires that become intentions, which I just pointed out. When you have a subconscious desire to survive economically. I mentioned a couple of times in this last 2 weeks that I was finding it difficult to deal with certain people because they were coming from a place of survival. And when I'm at work, when I'm doing prosperity issues, I'm not coming from a place of survival. I'm coming from a place of, I love what I'm doing. I want more people to benefit. I want more people to buy it. And then they can understand. I don't come from the place of, I need this dollar. Well, yes, I'm lucky, but I work to put myself here. But when I try to do business with people who have had incredible survival issues, I find it very difficult to deal with them because their decisions go through the filter of survival. One of the people that I'm talking about, literally, many times in his lifetime, his family didn't have enough food to eat. Today, that's very different. But that survival trauma affects his decision when it comes to doing business. And I realize I can never do business with him because we have different intentions. No, we both we intend on being prosperous. We intend on being prosperous, bigger picture, but the decisions to get there are totally truncated if you have survival issues today, or if you had survival issues when you were young, if your parents had survival issues, or if your country has survival issues. So you have to do a mantra, a purification mantra, which acts like a vacuum cleaner, and you have to deprogram that trauma that kicks in your survival issues that makes it more difficult for you to create prosperity. The fact that your family didn't have enough food creates a subconscious desire and a deep intention that never happen again. So you hang on to the dollars. The law of intention has a lot to do with commitment. And one of the issues in the United States today having to do with business is that it has been proven that 70-some% of the population that is working is not really committed to their jobs. that means that that company that hires them can never, ever, ever reach spectacular levels of success because the people that work there, that's not their intention. Their intention is survival, but not the survival of my family didn't have enough to eat. The survival of I need to survive this day. I need to get through this day so that I can leave, go home, and sit in front of the TV set or whatever it is that people do. The creativity and the vitality necessary is not there because, and they don't have the commitment because what they're committed to is working okay in order to keep the job and keep the income and then finish. There's no energy for creativity, for that extra. When people get really excited about a project, a lot of times they work extra. They're not even paid for that extra work, but they work extra because they love it. And people in business work 3 times as hard as a lot of employees, and they put in the extra time and they don't resent it because they have a commitment. On this list, we have the childhood traumas. And then we need to put together your previous traumas. When I did executive coaching decades ago with private bankers that at that point earned over $200,000, $250,000 a year, each one of them, and that was years ago, when I worked with someone that wasn't doing as well as they should have been doing, there was one of 2 issues. One was authority issues, that person that just got this new job, this new position, had an issue with being told what to do and was constantly struggling with everybody else in the team because of that. And the second issue, which might have been the first issue, was childhood trauma. Especially if that childhood trauma happened between 17 and 18 years of age of the person, and it included the parents going bankrupt, losing money, having to move because they couldn't afford to pay for the house, having to move to another country because the economy collapsed in their country. That is a huge issue to your success today. Even if you don't have those issues, your parents were the ones that were immigrants. You're fine. You remember. You remember. And if it happened between 17 and 18 for some reason, that is the age that kind of sets in stone, more like boulders and rocks in your path of prosperity. So you just do a mantra, purification mantra. Please, God, help me with my intention to purify that trauma. And you should ask your family, what happened? The bank collapsed. Your father was the president. The country collapsed, the company, whatever it is, just to have a little bit of knowledge, but it's just the mantra that you need. Please, God, help me with my intention to heal or to purify that trauma. So remember that. Now let's go into the part of this that can actually change you so that you're more equipped to energize your intention to be prosperous in the midst of chaos. And we're touching very close to chaos. What we're seeing happening now on Twitter, this is just an opinion of mine, I believe is in response to a chaos that's coming down the pike. And there's a lot of adjustments going on in order to be prepared for that. That's my thought. What's important is for you to be prepared, to remain focused in your intention to be prosperous, even if there's a chaotic collapse of everything. And you can do that because you create your reality. We all know of people that it doesn't really matter what happens, nothing seems to be able to knock them down. And we see people in particular fields where everybody else is earning a certain level of dollars and they're earning so much more. And then we see people in the field of the arts, when they are riding high and feeling very good about their art, whether it's music or it's design or whatever, they do very well. And when they're no longer feeling as good about their life, about what they do, they're no longer energizing that intention to be prosperous. And they may never have had an intention to be prosperous, but they loved what they did so much that they created prosperity for themselves. So you have to be doing something that you love. But let's get into the working part of this. let's start with a little test, which is this dress. You need in your head, you need to figure out and jot down in your head, what color are you seeing? It was constructed as gold and white. If your vibration is not so great, it could look bronze and blue. So whatever it is, just notice it, and then go ahead and figure out from 1 to 10, how do you feel about your prosperity? 1 meaning you're very frightened, and 10 meaning you feel like $1 million. Figure out what number, where are you at the scale? And let's go ahead and start with, the purification mantra, which I do not think that I have. Let's see. Let's start with the intention mantra. Please, God, help us with our intention to be prosperous, even in the midst of chaos. So if somebody could write that in the chat, I would appreciate it. Please, God, help us with our intention to be prosperous in the midst of chaos. If somebody could write that down, that would be great. The mantras are repeated silently in the head. You release the breath through your mouth. You do not move your mouth with the words. And I think that you should take and focus your breath and the color red and send like a telegram those words down to your root chakra, which is in between your legs. This is my dog that's anchoring me. So the mantra is repeated in silence. You blow out your breath through your mouth. You do not move. Somebody sees the dress, white on the top and bluish on the bottom lines. Your vibration, Carmen, is lower than it is. If you see blue, your vibration is lower. So what is it that happened? We don't need to do therapy here, but ask yourself, why is it that I'm off? What's going on? What's upsetting me? Okay? Okay, here we go. Areli, please, God, help us with our intention to be prosperous in the midst of chaos. Okay. And I'm going to put on 5 minutes of a mantrista music. It's sound therapy, and it has drums, and the beating of the drums and the beating of the feet are stimulating to your root chakra, which is where prosperity, the area of you that prosperity is usually associated with, your root in between your legs and your right shoulder. So go ahead and start, and I will put the music on. And the mantra is in the chat. You'll be able to see it. And here is the music for the root chakra, which we call the power of the mantristas. 5 full minutes. Sit comfortably on the chair. Wiggle your anus sphincter. Wiggle it, and that stimulates your root chakra. Have your feet on the ground. And maybe it would be good if you do the Apana Mudra, which is the 2 center fingers with the other 2 fingers extended, both hands. And the back of your hands, you put it on the top of your thighs. 5 minutes. I'm so sorry that I do it so abruptly. I don't know where the volume button is. Oh well. Okay, how are you feeling? And let's put the dress again. Where are you at in terms of the dress? Ah, I see it shinier. Oh yeah, I see it much shinier. Ah, that's good. And we only did 5 minutes. Now, this music is on our uh, Francis Fox Reveals. It's not on the English side yet, but it's under Mantrista movement, and it's sensory therapy. A sensory therapy we invented that's not just sound therapy, but also image therapy. So the images reinforce the intention of the video, which in this case is security, protection, and prosperity. And the mantra, the name of the music is, if somebody can put it in the chat, I'd appreciate it. The power of the mantristas, but it's in Spanish, El Poder de los Mantristas. Okay. Yawning and then nauseous. The nauseousness is you ran into or beat up on or ran over a spirit. Okay? Let's go ahead and do the purification mantra. Please, God, help me with my intention to purify my blocks to prosperity. If somebody can write that down, I'd appreciate it. These purification mantras are like vacuum cleaners, and they go into your mind. Your mind registers everything that ever happened to you from when you got to this planet to when you're going to leave this planet. And I don't mean one incarnation. So your mind is a storage, and it's holding these memories that you don't even remember. And those memories trigger intentions. And you'll go, oh, so that's why I don't like that thing. You didn't remember the trauma, you just remember your negative reaction. So you will have had traumas with prosperity before, especially if you've had a bankruptcy or your mate had a bankruptcy or somebody that you lived with or counted on lost their money or had to leave and you got left with the entire bill, or something happened in your family, you're between 17 and 18, and that really concretes in the prosperity issues. So let's see. Bright and gold. Okay. Oh, wow. So you saw it black and blue in the beginning. Your vibe was really down. Be kind. And now it's bright and golden. Super. And that was only 5 minutes of intention mantra. So here we go. Perfect. We're going to do a different music now. We're going to do a music that's for your solar plexus chakra. That is 6 inches above your belly button. That area is the color, it should be is yellow. It's about emotions. It's called the garbage can of emotions. And it channels the energy of personal power. It's got the liver, the gallbladder, the spleen, the pancreas, and all the digestive organs are controlled by the solar plexus chakra. So we're going to do the purification, which will have to do with traumas, emotions, with the music that corresponds to that, which I think you're going to enjoy. I think it's my favorite piece. So here we go. And if you have digestive issues, this is going to help you a lot. We're going to do 5 minutes of, no, that's another intention mantra. No, that's not the one. I apologize. I made a mistake. The one that I want is, even though I'm afraid I won't have money, I love and accept myself. I apologize. That is a very good mantra that's on screen. That's not the one I wanted to do now. Even though I'm afraid I won't have money, I love and accept myself. If somebody could put it on. That's the one that's the purification mantra. And when you start to address your issues, all of your life issues with mantras, you start first a lot of times with the purification mantra because you want to reduce the volume of emotions down. And then the intention mantra goes better. So the mantra is, even though I'm afraid I won't have money, I love and accept myself. Somebody will put it there. Areli, thank you. And let's go ahead and get the music. For the solar plexus, it's really good for digestion. How do you feel? And let's go ahead and get the measuring device here. How's the dress looking? And where are you at in terms of the numbers? Did you improve in terms of your well being when you think about prosperity? I did, at least 2 points, which would be 20%. And the dress looks almost basically the same as it did before for me. How is it going with you? You felt peaceful? Money's always an issue. Okay, well, then you need to do a lot. Because if you've had a lot of trauma, you have a lot that you're going to have to purify. We don't have the time today, but there are a lot of environmental factors, such as if you're going to open a business, do not rent a place. Or previously, there were 5 other businesses just like yours, and they all went bankrupt because you will be inheriting that energy because those people did not purify the spaces, as I'm going to be teaching you how to do. Actually, we have one of our products here, which we have to redo, which is coconut, which reduces, it creates happiness and it works on spirits that once had a physical body. So they're not the really evil ones. They're bothersome, but they're, and then it has CBD, and both of them reduce fire, so you will have less frustrated people around you working for you, or you will be less frustrated. Okay? Sandra, this is the first time you saw it gold, so that was good. This was a good session for you. Yawning is very good when you do mantras. It means you're opening up some secret heart channels. You know how you always wonder why all of a sudden people start to yawn? You're opening up these channels that we don't even know what they are. We haven't taken the time to figure out. If you're hot in your stomach, that's a big healing, Jacqueline. And your dad lost a job because his company went on strike. Huelga means strike in English. So was it very traumatic? It must have been. Okay. Oh, Estella says she can. By the way, the more time you spend in my presence, the more your psychic abilities augment because I have the superpower called the power of induction. I didn't know I had that. It's scientists and military that determined that when I was a child. So when you're in my presence, whether it's on the internet, on the phone, or physically, my aura tends to lift yours up in that department, psychic abilities. People also feel better, maybe because my intention is that everybody feel well. I don't like to see people that are traumatized because, and today there's entirely too much trauma. So we will be getting together again next Tuesday. And on Thursday, we start the peace program, creating peace in the world. Not asking for peace and wishing peace, but creating it. Because this that's out there, we created that. We have to purify that, and then we have to vitalize the creation of peace. Okay, Areli has an organizational suggestion. Use index cards and write the mantras. Oh, you do that for yourself? Okay. A lot of times before, when I started all this, I told people to use sticky notes because the spirits will make you forget the mantras. They're very simple. Please God help me with my intention to be prosperous even in the midst of chaos. Why did I put those words there if you don't have chaos now? Because if everything falls apart, it's going to be chaotic. When you get that news, you're automatically going to think, oh my God, this was a worldwide event, a national event. I'm going to go under with everybody. That's when you go in the midst of chaos. If I keep my focus on my prosperity and keep purifying my fear, which is transferring from everybody who's frightened of the news, I'll be able to create the prosperity even in the midst of chaos. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye. And thank you for for joining us.